पढ़ोगे लिखोगे बनोगे नवाब, खेलोगे कूदोगे बनोगे खराब. A very old saying, but times have changed. We've seen a lot of things changing in education so far. We've seen a lot of guests sharing their experiences of change so far. And today, I've used this line for a very specific reason. It's something that you'll know when you go deep down this show today. Welcome all to the edCafe. It's a place where we thrive and aspire under the experience of legacy educators, technological enthusiasts. We try to bring in the best of education technology to you under the same roof. And today we have a very special guest with us, so stay tuned. Hi and welcome to edCafe. Today we have Mrs. Pragya Verma Malik, a very long name, with us. She's managing the Marcom for DPS Ghaziabad Society, and she has a very peculiar journey to education, and that is something that we should hear from her. So over to you, Pragya. Thank you very much for coming. First of all, tell our audience something about yourself.
So first of all, Kanishk, the pleasure is all mine. So as you said, it's quite a long name now. Yes. Yeah, so currently when I talk about my introduction, I am managing district marketing and communications for Delhi Public School Ghaziabad Society. Yes, yeah. And it is for the Haryana region. Yeah, I started my journey as any software engineer or an engineer would do. From Nepal, I took my baggage to Bangalore. Yeah. I was fortunate enough to get selected to the third largest company in India at that time, iGet Global Solutions, and fortunate enough to get the Royal Bank of Canada project for coding. I did code for them. I did their software, systems. I worked as a systems engineer, then senior systems engineer for a couple of years. Then I came to this education industry. The reason was I thought that whatever I have, I really would like to impart it further. This imparting, we have a thought process at times that, only a teacher can do that, right? But at all stages we can do that. We're all learners, This is an ecosystem of learners, learning. So yes, then I came into this industry for this reason that I would like to impart this knowledge further. Have started this as a computer teacher at times, as coding instructor at times, as communication strategist at times, right? Doing marketing and communications right now, but yes, that ways.
So, Pragya, from being a systems engineer to when we say systems engineer, hardcore coding, you've been doing hardcore coding, and then from there you got into probably some sort of marketing, and then you got into education, and then now you're doing marketing for education. It's a good amalgamation, if I can say so. But at the same time, it's a massive transition from a corporate world. You've transitioned into the education world, which is, if I should say, a completely opposite domain. I'm sure what you were doing then, you were doing right now, and I'm sure there were a few big decisions that you must have taken. But how does the transition look like? I'll rephrase. What's the difference that you see from your eyes?
Okay. So the difference comes, the difference comes more from a viewer's perspective. I would tell you this. When I was, doing when I was working as a systems engineer in a corporate environment, right? At those times also, there was a nature of me, maybe that was hidden somewhere, a subtle thing, right? Maybe that was the thing that led me to do, a post-graduation in IT as well as into, marketing as well. So, into business management. Yeah. And then this comes a little bit from my dad. Yes. So at that time as well, if there would be something as, I mean, in this corporate thing, you have the service level agreements. There were times when I got, you know, appreciation directly after I joined within a month from the Vice President of Royal Bank of Canada for, you know, handling certain things. So they would put it across to me, the public relation things. So it was very smooth transition for me. So, you know, from there, the public relations coming across, then I you know, went back and I started teaching, coordinating a very new school. There was Awareness International Academy that I started working, which is now a very well known in you know, Kathmandu, but it is like I started working there as a coordinator, where being a new system set up, I used to teach computer, so that, you know, that part of the coding thing used to be there always. And then I used to do, being a new setup, you have to do the marketing. I mean, that is the thing ultimately for any setup. So, and then it very slightly evolved. And honestly speaking, today when I think, I really even don't understand 7 years in NCR with this marketing thing. I think I've always been doing this.
So you've been an educator from the very beginning, I should say. It's a good thing. This is something that I personally feel, that, you know, we are educators in ourselves. So the moment we gain some sort of experience, it by default comes out, and we tend to share it. I mean, a normal person would. And by doing that, that form of act itself makes us an educator by default, right? It's a great thing. But now you are in education. Welcome to the club. What exactly do you do as a Marcom strategist when you're managing the marketing communication for such a big name? How does that impact? What's the impact, or how is it different from handling a marketing communication of a corporate world?
So, you know, with, as you said, that DPSG being such a big name, right? It itself gives some cookie points. See, right? It itself does. And when we talk about, you know, the corporate marketing and communication strategies, it's a kind of similar setup here as well. So here we have 8 different schools where, you know, they are at the different locations in Dehradun, in Gurgaon, in Ghaziabad, everywhere. And then we have a central team as well in Sakep. So we, you know, we are a support system basically to all the schools, right?
Okay.
And apart from this being a support system, you know, to all the schools, we rather, you know, you can say that we're still educators, or you can say instigators, a catalyst, basically, a catalyst. Coming from, you know, I think that this education industry, it's itself an industry which brings itself a lot of huge respect, right? It is an industry which has built anyone and everyone, like you, me, for that matter, anyone. The education word is really something that we have to, I mean, it's looked high upon, right? Yeah,
it's a very sought after word. It entails a huge responsibility with it.
It does. It does.
I understand.
So when you say, you know, marketing, it's not a normal business setup that you know, market. But having said that, there are certain promotions. What we do is, you know, whatever, as I told you, a support system to all these 8 organizations, right? We have different, you know, pedagogy systems. We have scholastic and co-scholastic achievements. We have scholastic and co-scholastic, you know, integrities that come upon into communication as well as education. So it's entirely an amalgamation of academics as well as, you know, the promotions and getting it further.
In our previous conversations, we discussed about how marketing communication is very new to the education system. A lot of schools now nowadays are going towards marketing communication. Earlier they were not that much aware of these things, and of course with the day-on-day competition building up, more and so many courses, so many features, different features that every school provides, I believe of course some sort of sensitization is required among the parent before they decide that they should send their children to this school or that school or the other school, right?
Indeed.
So these things are required. But at the same time, do you feel any sort of, so when I understand the marketing communication, it's a very dynamic thing, right? But education in itself is a very controlled thing. With all the policies, with all the curriculums, with all these things, are you able to manage your job properly, or are you facing some sort of apprehensions from the education system itself?
So, to be honest enough, this new education policy coming in, right, and a lot of things improving, day by day things have been progressive in education system. So I was, just giving you a reference, I was talking to one of your colleagues, and Megha was there when we were discussing that, why is it very important, why marketing and communications in education system is very important. Yeah. The basicest of thing is that with a lot of brands coming in, with the responsibility of a parent, it becomes very confusing for the parents to understand things, right? Okay. Proper counseling is indeed required, right? And now, I'm not talking about the progressive India, right? But there is a certain gap, there is a certain region where first of all the parents have to understand why it is important to invest in education itself. So when you see, there were times, right, when people would rather invest a huge amount in property, in savings, and a lot of things, but they wouldn't do that into education. But that is, as a person, I mean, I believe that education is something, as a mother, I mother 2 children. As a mother, I understand the most important savings or investment that I have to make is in my children's education. The right kind of education. It's very important as a parent, to be able to understand the right selection of school, which this, the entire marketing communications team, along with the counselors, coming in, they do that. That is very important. Now, when you talk about the challenges, see, the challenges are there everywhere, but here what exactly happens with DPSG Society itself has come up with a Bible, I should say. It's called, CD 2020. It's Curriculum Design 2020. Even at the time when new education policy came, where it speaks about vocational education coming, we're being very progressive, to tell you, Kanishk. From the times we did schooling, trust me, things have changed a lot.
I'm sure.
Yes. Now CBSE understands that it's not that 1 hour of one period of sports class in 1 week that needs to be given, right, to the children. I mean, if you remember those times, that, right? So what exactly happens is, good old days. So what exactly happens is, scholastic and co-scholastic. It goes hand in hand. Now this new education policy has brought, which DPSC before that as well, it has created in its curriculum, and now the education industry is progressive in understanding this as well. How this go hand in hand, why is it important to emphasize not only on scholastic but as well as co-scholastic, because ultimately we are building citizens.
So you've spoken it right, and actually a good point taken, where that new education policy is trying to help schools build a better system and a more independent system, and which is also required. Some time back I was talking to an educator, and she said that today, if parents are required to be sensitized or counseled before they are ready to send their wards to the school. So before choosing the right school, the parents all the parents are required to undergo a sort of counseling, where they get to know, they should be able to decide, okay, हमें अपने बच्चों को क्या देना है, right? And if they are able to do that, then they'll be able to send their children to the right school, right? And there they can get, so if you want cultural education, they should go to this school. If they want sports education, you can go to this school, because every school cannot provide all the things, right? It's a fact. There are always certain things, or a unique hints with every school, every group school, or every small school, big school. Every school has a unique thing in itself, and that's the beauty of education, that no matter how many schools we have, we'll still have that uniqueness intact with every school. And because of that uniqueness, parents are they get confused, right? Marketing communication for schools, definitely I personally feel helps them understand what the school provides and let them make an informed decision, I should say.
Exactly.
This is good. I mean, but at the same time, this marketing, what we've discussed so far is up till the admission process, right? I'm gonna go beyond that. I'm gonna get into the curriculum part, and this is what I want to know. We've seen a lot of sensitization among students, and where we are seeing digital transformation. COVID has come in, and a lot of schools have transformed digitally. Infrastructural changes have been massive in past 2 years. At the same time, we've seen kids go smarter every year, right?
They are.
So I won't get into that detail, because then again I feel outsmarted. But at the same time, how much comfortable are you as a mother, as an educator, as a corporate strategist, as an educational strategist? How comfortable do you feel are the children around the concept of finance?
Now, so we've got here three things, right? It comes about digitization, it comes about finance, right? When we talk about financial independency of the, you know, how this brings, and then of course, as you know, when I look through, you know, three different eyes, as you said, as a mother, you know, as an educator, as a, you know, someone who does that communication thing. See, everything has a pros and cons, right? I just heard an interview of one of the CBSE toppers who was asked that, you know, several students have to say that classes nahi hue, online education ho gaya tha, but how could you? She got a very good point, you know, with things digitization. Trust me, the classrooms after 5 to 10 years are going to be really very different. This, you know, when we talk about the silver lining in the cloud, this COVID did bring this entire thing, it did digitize everything, right? And this digitization brought a lot of independence in children as well. That then coming to the points like, you know, when this online classes happened, we are indeed a Microsoft Showcase school.
Okay, wow.
Yes. So, you know, we conducted class in Microsoft Teams for all our schools, and, you know, we were one of the schools which started in very pioneer stage, I mean very early stage with the things sorted, getting things sorted with the good IT team and thing we have. This classroom was so seamless. There is, you know, whenever the children travel, they exhaust themselves as well. This one, I'm just giving a small example. This helps them in, you know, saving that time and investing it into education. Apart from that, when you talk about independent, they've become a lot independent. They know how, you know, earlier in a computer class, you know, we have been in that class. Do you remember our computer classes? So we used to sit in front of a computer, and what was told us?
I remember, okay, that was way long. I remember I remember typing on keyboard randomly. Right. And I don't movies. I remember playing on movies, doing some sort of drawing on movies and clips art and stuff like that. I mean,
correct.
It's a very big
yes. So now the children are, you know, even a child of, you know, grade 1 or 2, I should say, which is very young. So they would, you know, turn on the system. They would log into their teams. They have become very tech savvy.
I cannot imagine myself doing that.
Yes, they learn, you know, I was taking this class in 2020, I was taking a class in Germany, children in Germany, and I was literally outsmarted by a 5-year-old kid. The way he learned coding, trust me, in the 3rd class, he told me that, you know what, ma'am, I'm gonna make an app for my mother where she doesn't drink water, and the doctor has advised her to drink water. So to, you know, an app where she clicks on bottles, number of water and I need to track what she does. So, you know, 5-6-year-old child saying that and learning that, and that's not in, you know, that has come up in India as well. Now let's talk about the financial independence. You know, I as a mother, I think that we should, you know, let our children be emotionally independent, financially independent. We are, you know, the supporters, we're the backbone. We should tell them that it's their life, and they need to be, the sooner they realize that they are the leaders of their life, right?
Absolutely, you're right. Sahi galat ka decision making, that comes from the very beginning.
We should not spoon feed the child ki bacha aapke paas aa raha hai kehte hue ki I have had this. Okay, definitely you had this. Okay, you had a bad day. You give him a hug. Okay, but then you teach him to be independent. Similarly comes with the financial independency. You know, the card, the fee card that I saw. I mean, it's a very good fee feature that I saw from your thing as well, right? This lets the child understand that okay, money is important. They realize that, you know, their investment that has been made into them, that's how important that is, how soon that can end, right? Then they understand properly how should they, you know, invest that amount. Like they have to buy a toy, a notebook, you know, what is their priority, right? When they're having, okay, they can not endlessly swipe and, you know, they're enjoying the canteen. I'm just giving you, because this teaches them a lot about, you know, financial independency and how, you know, the system is going. Because now is the age, trust me, you can't make a child sit and learn nothing at all. This has to be learning by doing. Experiential learning is, I think, the need of the hour, and students are required to learn from the experience. A lot of schools are advocating this, and I'm thank you very much for putting up this point. And in fact, technology companies like ourselves, we are also figuring out how we can bring experiential learning. Although we are into the technological part and not that much into the content part, but still we on and off we try to discuss this in detail with educators, because in the end we believe that educators are the only one who can help us with these things. You call it NEPs, understanding NEPs, or you call it understanding the recommendation or affiliation criterias, or all the policies that CBSEs or NCRTs or all these big associations make. All the government level discussions we are able to understand it only because of the educators, because of course the terminologies and the jargons are with you guys. At the same time, talking about experiential learning, I feel that if we are able to impart close to 60% of the curriculum to experiential learning, I think we're gonna do wonders there. We will.
Having said that, this brings us to our time today, but you've lifted up a very interesting topic here. But at the same time, what you're doing today is pretty new to the education system, but trust me, few years down the line, marketing communication will be the gods of education system, because it is what is required, not just for bringing in admissions and to get the bread and butter to the educational institutions, but at the same time also communicating the right idea to the parent, bridging the gap between the educational institution and the parents.
Yes.
That is what you will be achieving the most, I believe, and for that I mean complete kudos to you.
Thanks you so much.
Thank you very much for coming in today, giving us your precious time. This was Mrs. Pragya Verma Malik, again a long name. We have a very peculiar, very primitive tradition with us, where we sign the mugs.
Okay.
Please.
Thank you.
If you can sign this for us.
Definitely.
Oh, long signature as well.
Yeah.
Another one. Thank you. I should sign this as well.
Yeah, definitely, Kanishk.
Mine is pretty small. This was it. Thank you very much for joining us today. Next time we're gonna have another amazing guest with us, another good experience, and something new to share. So stay tuned till then. Bye bye.